Alright, so we're going to have a little fun today. We're going to talk about the HK Mark 23. This pistol is the only one of its class. Right. Before we get too into detail, I want to give the history of this pistol, this model, in a nutshell. Right. In the 90s, Socom had an offensive handgun weapon system bid. The only two competitors they had was the Colt OHWS and the Mark 23. The Colt OHWS dropped out in Phase 1. It failed to make it through Phase 1, therefore only the Mark 23 was able to make through Phase 2. In Phase 2, that's where it really underwent the rigorous testing. They were able to, on average, fire 6,000 rounds without cleaning on these things before they started malfunctioning. Step aside, Glock. Eventually, they were adopted by the U.S. Navy SEALs and U.S. Special Forces. Now, from what I understand, the U.S. Navy SEALs have switched to different handgun systems since then, but to my understanding, there are still a few UDTs that still use these. And when I mentioned the offensive handgun weapons system program, it means that this pistol was designed to be a primary weapon. AKA, this pistol was supposed to take the place of, say, a submachine gun or an assault rifle. Right. So, needless to say, the Mark 23 won out the competition in this bid. It was adopted again by U.S. Navy SEALs and U.S. Special Forces. And she's a beaut, right? Another interesting note to put, this pistol right here was the predecessor to the USP style series. You know, the USP was based off the Mark 23. The reason why the USP came about is because even though the Mark 23 is good, it's good at what it's designed to do, it still is not a defensive handgun. It still serves as an offensive handgun. It's bulky. That's been the big complaint about it. It's bulky and that it's hard to draw and use as a defensive sidearm. So, needless to say, the USP came out. Mark 23, from the moment you pick it up, you can tell this is a quality handgun. Alright, you've got your external safety right here. Only can be engaged when it's on single action, aka the hammer's back. You have your auto decocker, that's right here, which makes it so in a traditional single action, used to be when they wanted to set the hammer forward, they had to actually squeeze the trigger. With the auto decocker, you just let the hammer go forward with it, and you don't even have to worry about putting your finger in the trigger well. Other unique features on this, there's not many handguns out there where you can go and just shoot steel at 100 yards away and still expect to ding the steel. Again, depending on your marksmanship abilities. It's got some adjustable sights here. Obviously, it's got a threaded barrel. The Knot Armament sound suppressor that was originally designed for it has a 36 decibel sound reduction, which is still a pretty sweet amount of sound reduction. Obviously, I've got the thread protectors on here. The rifling in the muzzle, it's polygonal rifling, which same rifling you'll find in Glocks, you'll find in a lot of HKs. It's just a really smooth rifling. You've got the rail mount, which is anything but universal. Obviously, there's only certain things you can mount on the rail mount, and these things were specifically designed for the pistol. in and of itself. My first impression when picking up this pistol, I mean, aside from it being bulky, was that this is a good quality pistol. Normally when I pick up a pistol, or any firearm of that matter, I put it in one of three categories just from picking it up, just from the feel of it, that is. This feels like a junk gun. This feels like a decent quality gun. This feels like an excellent quality gun. The Mark 23 fell into the excellent quality gun category on that one. On the size of it, well, I'm going to show you my chart on the size of it. For those of y'all who have watched, I believe it's Rand Paul stands with armor piercing ammunition on mine. Well, you've seen this chart already, but I'm going to show it again in this video. Okay, so obviously the Mark 23 for its size is going to be in the Magnum sized category. Note, I am not actually talking about the round it's chambered in. I'm just talking about the size of the pistol itself. It's chambered in 45 ACP, not really a Magnum cartridge. But if you compare it side by side to my Desert Eagle .50, they're pretty similar in size. My Raging Judge Magnum, well, the Raging Judge Magnum is significantly larger. Take a full-size pistol such as a USP. USP is significantly smaller than the Mark 23 in many respects. So, on that, I want to move on to magazine capacity. Now, at the time it was designed, 12 rounds of 45. Well, it was a decent sized magazine capacity. Now, smaller pistols such as Glocks also generally had the 12 round magazine capacities, though nowadays they're coming out with stuff like the para ordinances. Well, I mean, they've been coming out with para ordinances for years, which are smaller than this pistol but carry a 14 round magazine of 45. And even if you want to get into really increased magazine capacity for 45 but have a smaller pistol, the FNX Tactical would be more well, it'll get you more magazine capacity, let's put it that way. So again, on magazine capacity for the size of the Mark 23, it's kind of lacking. Now, you can get some 20-round magazines for these things. They're aftermarket. However, these 12-round magazines are the standard capacity for it. Now, again, for the size, 12 rounds really isn't that much, especially given the fact that this pistol in and of itself, well, if you can find one for less than $2,000 after taxes and you have the money for it and you're looking for one, snatch it up. I found this pistol for less than $2,000 before taxes. After taxes, well, obviously the pistol went up in price, but again, it was worthwhile for me. Now, and actually on that note, this had been one of the pistols I'd been looking for ages, right? I'd find one and not have the money for it, and then every time I had the money for it, I could not find one. This is one of the pistols I really had to chase down in life, guys. So that just makes it, to me, all the more special. If you have friends in the gun collecting community who really know about firearms, they will recognize that you have a decent collection if you have one of these in your collection. For those who don't really have much money to spend on a firearm, or for those who aren't the serious collector or don't have a specific purpose for this firearm, I might recommend something different. Again, this is a $2,000+ pistol. It has a reputation among those who know about guns. So, again, collectability wise, and the fact that it's a rare pistol puts it on my top priority for firearm collection. On utility purposes, well, if you want to spend that much money on a pistol for home defense, this would be the way to go. Or a good truck gun, this would be the way to go. If you want to spend this much money on a pistol, that you're going to use to hunt stuff like feral hog, again, another good choice. If you're looking for a pistol that you can shoot, that you plan on getting some NFA Title II items such as a suppressor, another good way to go on this one. Concealed carry, obviously this pistol is lacking. Due to the size, you're going to have a hard time concealing this. So, for utility purposes, while it's not the greatest concealed carry gun out there, and when it comes to home defense, if you're going to get something like this, I would just say go with a rifle. In most cases, it still has a good utility purpose to it. And shooting, well, let me put this up here. I know right now that's only 1 or 2 videos I've had where I'm shooting the Mark 23 or on the range, and I know I don't take a lot of videos out with me on the range. There are a lot of times I'll take a video camera out and then just get so carried away with shooting I just won't stop to record anything, which I got to get better on that one, unfortunately. I mean, you can't help it. This gun, particularly right here, it's real easy to get carried away with shooting at the range, and you forget to take video of it. How it shoots. I do have another video of me shooting, and it's going to be right here. Okay, so again, that's one of 2 videos I think I have of me shooting this pistol. I can't help it, guys. When I go to the range and start shooting, I get so carried away that if I have a video camera, and I was planning on videotaping stuff, I really don't. That's a habit of mine I need to break. When I go out there with the purpose of videotaping me shooting something, I'm going to have to start bucking myself and making sure I record the stuff, because some of the stuff is actually pretty fun. And I just get carried away. I can't help it. But hey, guys, anybody who has a Mark 23, y'all can vouch for me on this one. It is kind of hard to not get carried away when you're out at the range and actually stop and videotape yourself shooting. So going forward on my point, want to start talking about more of my guns in the collection. That's what I'm going to have to do, is actually when I go to the range and shoot the firearms, I'm going to actually have to bring the video camera and record it. But, alright, so we've covered this. This, guys, is a great gun. I mean, let's put it this way. if the world was going to hell in a handbasket, and there was only I was limited in time on how many guns I could collect, and take out the door with me, this would be one of them. Not just because it's a valuable pistol, but also because it's such a fine and accurate and reliable pistol. It has its purposes. While it might not be the best concealed carry or the best defensive pistol out there, it does have its applications. It's reliable and accurate. So with that being said, guys, if you've got a serious gun collection, or hey, even if you particularly like this model, you're at a gun store, you see one for sale, you have the money to get it, snatch it up, because you just don't know when you're going to get the next chance to do so. And again, serious collectors will see this in your collection and will know you know what you're talking about when you collect firearms. Y'all take her easy out there. And don't forget, comment. Let me know what you think of the Mark 23. Let me know if there's a particular gun you want me to talk about on this channel. Put the model in the description if I have it. Might very well have another video up there, with me talking about this particular model. Y'all take her easy out there.